I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We will call the December 19th, 2019 Village Board meeting to order. Roll call shows Julie and Peter are excused. Everyone else is present. Number 3, agenda changes. We will change under new business. We will change F before A. Put it ahead of A. 4 is the consent agenda. A, December 5th, 2019, regular board meeting minutes. B, December 5th, 2019, committee of the whole minutes. C, licenses and permits. D is presentation of accounts and other claims against the village. Are there any questions? If not, could I have a motion, please?
I'll move to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Roll call.
Aye.
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 Aye. Aye.
Motion carried. 5 is public hearing. A is preliminary resolution number 1, vacate Michael Ridker Street, R-24-19.
Nothing you have to do with that, right?
No, the approval's later on, isn't it?
Yeah.
Under,
Final resolution is letter B.
yeah,
Yep.
Yeah.
So it'll just be a reading, Gene.
Okay. B
So-
is,
yeah. So at the most, I think you'd just report the public hearing that it was held, and that's about it, I think, at that point.
okay. The public hearing is then closed. Number 6, pre-registered citizens to be heard, and there are none. 7, committee reports, library board.
We have not had a meeting since the last village board meeting.
Okay. And number 8, unfinished business from previous meetings. There is none. 9, new business. F, R-33-19, employee percentage splits.
You want to speak to it or should I?
Yeah, so, basically, we're gonna be, this proposal is to split up David's pay. Typically, he gets paid out of water and sewer and administration, and that's typically the splits we've done in the past. We can split it out to the TIDs too. So this would end up saving the village around 10 grand total with pay and benefits to have his split to the TIDs. That would be, technically, it would still be partially covered by the village residents, but also by county and the other entities. It's the top is for David's. The transportation one that would be for the new senior transportation program from the county. And that would be a split from the levy at 5%. That has no savings.
Correct. Essentially, what Nathan proposed here is the transportation option, especially for him and Libby, is if we don't bill them for it, we can't collect on it. So we have to justify and have reasonable expenditures. So the only way to do it properly would be to have it noted here, so we can have a line item that we then send to them on a quarterly basis. We have to prepare a monthly bill and then we review it quarterly with them. After a month, we will submit, they will reimburse. So everything that we expend into that rideshare program is reimbursed to us, up to our limit of $17,301. Upon the initial budget, I had that forecasted to cover this wages. So part of Nathan's wage increase that would be approved tonight also is built into this program as well. So we'll be able to retain all of the funds for our wage increase right out of the rideshare.
No concerns on them disputing that at all?
Not at
As long as
all.
it's up to the 17?
No, that was already through their county budget.
I think what David's, he's doing work on the TIDs, so the TIDs are the place that some of his
Absolutely.
time should be
Absolutely.
billed.
Yep. Especially moving forward, 3 and 4, and then especially 5 at post bypass with TID 5 downtown. being a receiver TID, it's gonna be, we're gonna be putting a lot of effort and time into those TIDs in the near future here, so.
Are there any other questions? If not, could I,
I'll move to approve R-33-19 employee percentage split as presented here.
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. A, R-22-19, resolution adopting 2020 salaries and wages, statement of employment.
That is also in your packet. And again, it's taking the proposed wage and benefit report that was included with the budget submission and condensing it to a nice readable form for your review and for your approval. Gives the 2019 pay and then the 2020 proposed. So that is also, going to take time to review it and ask questions.
Does anyone have any questions?
I just maybe wanted to note that in this proposal, there is an increase to the election workers. There's been a survey that's been done recently through area clerks, and just to bring that up to a little more than what they were making, especially the chief inspector who has a lot of duties. That's been a long time coming, I think.
Yeah, it really is.
With the summer recreation assistance, is that based on if they're returning, or it's 7 to 9 an hour? Just curious how that's.
I'm positive it was structured 7 for the first year, and then Mike had a few that would come back, so you would pay them a higher stipend, correct?
Is Mike returning next year, do we know?
As of right now, his intention is to
Okay.
return for his 30th year.
Okay.
I always ask him, I said, if you feel like you're not gonna do it, please give us notice.
Okay.
So you're not dropping it a month in our lap, a month in advance, so we have proper planning. That's always done with Lisa, so the intention is, and I spoke to Mike about 2 weeks ago, because we had shed damaged at the commercial club that was taken down and disposed of. All indications is that he's coming back for year 30, so.
So we didn't figure a raise in for him then?
He didn't, we did it for we did a 10% raise on their budget, whether or not, he did not indicate that he was looking for anything for himself.
Okay.
So, he just said 10% for the program. So that was factored in also to the 2020 budget.
I'll make a motion to approve R-22-19, adopting 2020 salaries and wages statement of employment.
I'll second.
Roll call.
Aye.
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 I'm sorry, Jane, you mentioned to me, because I work the elections, that I should abstain?
Yes, you should abstain,
Okay.
yes.
So I'm abstaining.
Okay, motion is carried. B, final resolution for Michael Ricker Street vacation.
I can take that. So, yeah, tonight is the end of it. We've got the public hearing. There's no opposition. So we would ask for a motion and second and passage to the effect that those two portions of Michael Ricker are vacated. The ones at the end of by Spruce Street, and then the other ones in back of the cottages, which I think everybody's familiar with, the part that we took out to make it a non-through road. And so I have an order here that if you approve, then Jeannie and Jane would sign, and that would get recorded with Register of Deeds. And as I stated earlier, the vacated streets would revert to the adjoining property owners, half to each side. On the part that is in back of cottages, we have received back the deed from Cottages on Main, which then quitclaims their reversionary interest back to the village. So the village will then own that entire vacated strip. And that will get added to what has been Lot 1 Parker Heights up to this point. so it'll be a larger residential lot.
And is also committed to purchase from Advanced Construction. So they will get that, it'll essentially, that'll be almost a half-acre lot for development.
And then on Spruce Street, the people have been occupying it already anyways, so probably it's not going to be any change there, but it'll be made legal. So, questions?
If not, could we have a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve the final resolution for Michael Richter street vacation.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
If that's both of them,
Okay.
yeah, I guess that we dealt with them individually, but that's okay.
Okay.
It's understood it's both of them,
Yeah.
and there was
Very
no
good.
objection, so, yeah, thank you very much.
C, cancellation permission for the January 2nd, 20 village board meeting.
As of right now, we have two things to potentially put on a agenda. We have those listed for January 16th, so at the discretion of the village board, we really don't see a need to have a January 2nd meeting. So we're just asking for permission to officially cancel it and enjoy the rest of the holiday season. If there's any objections?
Do we need a motion?
I would, yes, because it's in your ordinance, I
Yeah,
think.
correct.
I'll make a motion to cancel the January 2nd, 2020 village board meeting.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. D, O-25-19, creating 5.06 for the Hortonville Fire District hazardous spill remediation reimbursement.
This is in your packet. The first 3 pages in your packet is the ordinance code. That essentially came from Outagamie County, then was handed down to the Grand Chute. I borrowed it from Grand Chute, made it feasible for the village of Hortonville, sent it off to Bob. Bob went through it. And what this allows the village to do is give powers of the fire department on scene to take over the control of the scene in case there is a spill. And then also it allows us to build in a fee structure and be able to recoup costs and billable incident charges that we feel we should start doing for the village. Included in the packet is the charges that I reviewed with the fire department and their staff. And then also the form, it actually has Outagamie County on it. It is then reporting agency, Hortonville, Hortoni Fire Department. It lists their units, and then this is the form that would be on all of their vehicles for a cleanup procedure. Their staff would fill it out. They would then direct it back to the village board, to the village staff, the administration staff. At that time, we would produce a bill and send it off to these parties. This is something they've done in the past. They discontinued it, claiming they didn't have good luck with it. Why we're doing it again is because prices are going up, costs are going up. 95% of what we do is accidents. So it's essentially a step that we can try to recoup some of our costs, minimize our expenditures. What's good about this is if we have no luck in 30 days, we can then send it off to their insurance companies. If we have no luck with an insurance company, we can then send it off to either the county or state, depending on where the accident happened, for reimbursement. So the default is at county and state level, but we have to do our diligence prior to that with the personnel and or the insurance companies before we can send it off.
So did they not have luck because they didn't have the administrative staff to handle that process?
Correct. So what I propose to the fire department is that we will handle administrative tasks in our office. We'll retain 25% of the fees. The rest will be put into a fund for the fire department to use at their dispersal for backup for emergencies or a fund for equipment. So the way I propose this is anything is better than nothing, because right now we're getting nothing. If you would poll local municipalities, we're about the only one that doesn't charge for remediation of services at or around accident scenes. The only other thing that I had on there is it's not billable to village residents of Hortonville or Hortonia. So essentially we are, the way the Grand Chute lady explained it to me is that they do the same policy, it's because taxpayer dollars is already eating that. And a lot of what goes through our village is non-taxpayers, and essentially we're gonna try to recover from them. That we take care of them, so we're gonna charge them accordingly.
Basically, their insurance.
Correct, correct. And then if we don't have luck, like I said, we can push it off to the county or state for reimbursement.
How do you determine the percent of administrative costs versus what the fire department will receive?
That was just a number I put out there, a 25 percentile.
Whatever they get,
Yep.
you may not get all of it.
We might not get all of it, essentially, whatever, all mailings, all inquiries are gonna come through the village hall. So we would essentially do a split on their whatever structure, whatever we get in, we'll take 25% of it.
Okay.
And there's no, there's no process where a village resident's gonna get charged for this?
Correct.
Okay.
Unless they're
Or
involved.
Hortonia, right?
Yep, correct. We would have,
What
we
do
would
you
have to
mean unless they're
qualify.
involved?
If they're,
No,
not if they're not involved, even if they're involved.
even if they're involved, yep.
Right.
Yeah, it's strictly a laissez-faire to Hortonia and Hortonville residents.
Because we already contribute.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
essentially where your taxpayers are covering for that scene recovery.
I'll make a motion to approve O-25-19, creating a Hortonville, Hortonia Fire Department hazardous spill remediation reimbursement.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. E is R-30-19, adopt water and sewer budget.
Do you guys have the budget? Is it in the packet or is it in front of you? Basically, the budget's pretty flat compared to last year. Slightly less than actual the year before. I never like to push it to the limit, so we're showing SIF projects, which is savings account for money we earned in previous years for paying for projects. Like I said, we're holding revenues flat and expenditures flat. There might be some different numbers. That's because we shifted projects from water in 19 over to sewer in 20. So water looks like it's down 61,000. Sewer looks like it's up 82,000. But all in all, it's pretty flat across the board. Again, one of the changes we're going to be doing over the course of the year is we've got roughly 11 years on our current remote meter reading system. We've got about 9. Well, we're out of warranty. I mean, the meters after 10 years on that Badger meters, they're not covered under full warranty. They're prorated after that. But anyways, the technology for those meters is going south real fast, and we're going to try and limp these meters along for the next 9 years. And but from this point forward, starting next year, we're going to switch over to electronic flow meters. Basically, they're a mag meter. I don't know if you guys understand what a mag meter is. There's no moving parts. It uses magnets. It's magic. Anyways, the water goes through there. There's no moving parts. It's a magnetic field is how it measures the water. Anyways, with little to no cost, when I say that, I mean less than $10,000, we can start going with the better technology. And as we have new homes that need new meters or businesses, we're going to jump into this new system. The old one will milk along for the next 9 years. So I think it's the way to go. It's going to be a point source. Plus, right now these meters will transmit to the water tower. From there, it'll go to a cellular carrier, or even you can have a modem put in there, wireless, whatever you want. But anyways, it all goes back to Lisa's computer, and then she can import it into the Civic billing software. So there won't be any compatibility issues. We can still run the Badger system and import that into the Civic system, and this new system will also be imported into there. The one positive, aside from these are probably better meters, is this system. If that antenna goes down on the tower, we've had that happen 3 or 4 times now over the last 11 years. we don't get readings from the Badger system because there's no backup. And these new meters and the new system, worst case scenario, we can go drive around and collect them with the portable unit. So we always have a backup. And the meters are probably 10 to 15% higher, but the technology is definitely better, and it's guaranteed for 20 years. Whereas Badger seems like they're kind of walking away from their customers on that Galaxy technology. I mean, they'll milk it along, but they're not guaranteeing anything, and frankly, we're just looking for a better product. And before we invest more into a system that's dying, I'm not going to go out and buy something else from them if they're not going to support it for 10 years. They will support the old system, but it's grudgingly. So Census is a larger company. There are 56 communities, I think, that are running the system in Wisconsin. Greenville's getting ready to switch over to it too. So there's a lot of pluses and really no negatives. So, anywho, back to the budget. Did you guys see anything in there? It's pretty flat. We did a lot of projects last year. We're going to tone it down next year. I think by the time we get the audit done, the utility probably is only going to be in the positive about $100,000 only. But we try to put in $200 to $250 in the bank account every year. But we spent a lot this year, you know, with the equipment you allowed us to buy, and we did all that extra paving and extra projects. And it was a busy year, but we needed to do it. So next year we're going to tone it down and only spend about $100,000 on projects, and then the following year we're going to do full road reconstruction in front of the high school. So that's also going to be partially paid for out of the capital program on the village side. So things are looking good. We'll probably get yelled at by the auditors this year, but we did okay. So we'll be fine, and we won't have to. And we got debt coming off in another 2 years. So a lot of debt's coming off the water side, you know, $100,000 or so. So I'm recommending that, you know, we look at lowering rates in 2 years, and then of course we got the biggie coming off in 10, which is the wastewater plant. So it would be nice, even if it's just symbolic, to lower the rates some. So we'll look at that. We'll probably contract with an outside engineering firm to come in and do a rate study. But I think we're getting there. So yeah, we may be able to do it a year early, but I think in 2 years we'll definitely be able to lower the rates some. We want to still keep some of that to still continue with our projects, but we'll be fine. Yeah. Is there any questions on line items? Jim? Anything?
No, I'm just wondering about the replacement meters though.
I could pass this over to you. Those are really nice. It's already built into the budget. It's not going to affect us in any way. I just think it's a better technology and a way to go.
And you'll do so many a year like you do
Yeah,
with
yeah.
the other ones.
Yeah.
So it'll get put in the budget for each year.
What happened when we changed over to Galaxy, we spent $40,000 a year trying to get that whole system implemented. Took us about 5 years. And this year, we're going to take, now over 10 years we can bring these meters online, and they're guaranteed for full 15 years, 100% replacement cost. And the warranties, if you replace it at 14 years, 11 months, the warranty starts over again. So again, this is a worldwide company, and much better warranty, and I think much better equipment. And they really look at the technology. They're not going to leave you hanging 8 years from now, because with Badger, the cell companies can walk away from those meters and not support the functionality of them. And we can't do anything about it. Badger can't do anything about it. But Xylem and Core & Main, who reps it here in the United States, they guarantee it. So they'll stand behind it forever. Because they own the radio waves. At least that was my understanding. So.
All right, I'll make a motion to approve R-30-19, water and sewer budget.
Second.
Roll call.
Aye.
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 Aye. Aye.
Motion carried. We will now skip to G, R-34-19, usage of DPW equipment fund monies to repair the aerial boom truck.
Yeah, I probably should have had that before we approved the consent agenda, but sorry. We had to repair a boom truck, some of the hydraulic lines and, going out the main boom, were deemed inadequate, and the guys don't like to run equipment that's not potentially safe. So anyways, we had the money, but I since spent it, but I went ahead and authorized the work, and it was, how much was it?
560987.
Anyways, we had it fixed, because we need that truck a lot more than we thought. We thought we could get by through the end of the year, but, we've got street lights out at the high school, and we've got tree trimming to do, and basically what I wanna do is just use equipment replacement fund money to cover that invoice. And then when we get the FEMA grant back, have you heard anything about that?
They're still reviewing.
Okay, they'll be reviewing forever, I guess. When we get that FEMA money back, we'll reimburse the Public Works Equipment Fund.
And that's from the trees, the FEMA money? Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
We're gonna get back, Public Works is due to get back $14,411. Again, you had previously authorized Public Works Equipment Fund money to buy, that snow pusher blade, which by the way, works really nice. I think it's shortened our time down there by hours at least, it seems like. Anyways, that was approximately $7,000. This is about $5.5, so, the FEMA money is more than enough to cover both of those costs, to reimburse them. We'll get something out of it, and, we're also gonna kick $3,500 over to the utility when that money comes back in. And the police and the fire department should get some good money back too, right? Maybe. Anyways.
The final dollar amount.
Yeah. Anyways, I'm just looking to cover that. Worst case scenario, the Public Works Equipment Fund money will pay for it for now, and we'll hope for the best regarding the FEMA money. It was much cleaner when we did it in the state using the Wisconsin Disaster Fund money. You knew you were getting 75% back. Now we're supposed to get 100, but they drag their feet so much. I don't know. So, yeah.
Make a motion to approve R-34-19, usage of DPW equipment fund monies to repair the aerial boom.
Second.
Roll call.
Aye.
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 Aye. Aye. Motion carried. H, long-term facilities planning stipend, $1,500, Keller Structures.
Okay. Carl and I were on a conference call last week with Kelly Claflin from Keller Structures. The background to this is we have a lot of irons in the fire, dealing with the Opera House. We have a party interested in long-term rentals. We currently have a tenant. We have the Legion that operates out of there. We have the meal site that operates out of there. Julie also has a potential long-term tenant that she's working with also. So there's a lot of irons in the fire in regards to the Opera House. Carl and I have always been in the understanding that the property west of the retention pond, adjacent to the Village Hall, would be another opportunity to do a facility. We've talked about building another facility that would help alleviate some of our overcrowding. It would also work well with our car situation now with the rideshare vans, being able to house those vans, because our storage facility where we currently have them is technically not ours. We're using it because the Black Otter Lake District does not have their equipment in there. So essentially, the $1,500 stipend would be payable to Keller Structures. If you go back 20 years, Keller Structures was a design-build contractor. That's not how they operate anymore. $1,500 would produce project renderings, costs associated with building an additional facility on the admin building campus. I'm calling it Senior Legion Garage type facility. Again, it's proposed west of the pond. We're targeting approximately a 2,400 square foot building and a 1,200 square foot garage. Again, it's not a design build. We are not contractually obligated to Keller Structures and anyone else associated. They produce these, they produce cost figures and assumptions on contracting. And it's something that we can use, and it essentially really ties in with our long-term planning and our capital programming. We feel that this is something we could build and pay for right out of our capital funds that we have established with our new near cash financing tool. So again, this is something we're proposing. We have money to pay for it out of our building fund or planning and mapping funds. So it's just something that we want to investigate and look at and see what long-term planning and how much it could potentially cost to put another facility up in the village here. So,
Yeah, I think you touched on that. If we were to do this, it wouldn't affect our taxes. In fact, with the new CIP, Jim doesn't have it, but the new CIP, we'd be able to carry that note for that building, and we'd solve a lot of issues. Plus, if something happens at the Opera House, we have the potential for, $20,000 net loss to, $30,000 net gain. So that can be applied to that, but we'd basically be getting that building for free if things turn out the way they are with the Opera House. And then we still have money left to spend.
And then we would go ahead with this in 2020.
correct.
Yeah,
It's a little too juvenile to divulge, but we've been presented with some significant opportunities at the Opera House for tenants.
So what kind of structure are we talking about?
Stick frame. Essentially, we'd be looking to duplicate this half of the building. Kitchenette, bathroom facilities, and then another area for a senior community. But it'll also have attached garages.
Okay.
just a smaller structure over there, kind of match this in color, but nowhere near the price of this.
Yeah, I'm anticipating $500,000 total project cost.
So it's a storage facility and a rental type
Correct.
facility.
You're basically
Be a Legion
mimicking-
Senior Center.
Not a rental.
Not a rental,
Operating facility.
operating facility. It would be mimicking
Seniors.
this type of facility, probably a little more cozy. You know, not so much boardroomish, but
When we built this building, we promised the seniors a place. It didn't happen because this got too busy. We have meetings, we have library in here, we have other things in here, plus we rent this section. So this is something that would benefit our community for, like you said, the seniors, the Legion people, and they're really good to us, plus a garage for our vans. I mean, it sounds like it could be a real benefit to the community.
It'd be a great spot to have farmers markets.
Yeah.
All kinds of stuff.
I mean, there's numerous things we could do with it.
That was why we held on to that piece. We were gonna put the driveway through there and run it around the drive, but the square footage was just right for something in the future.
What size building are we?
approximately 2,400 square foot, and then a 1,200 square foot add-on. We would accommodate vans and then also the municipal vehicles. Carl is also envisioning a smaller piece of public works equipment that could stay on campus here for cutting and maintaining the property. Because the guys are essentially driving over here at the zero turn, where they could have a smaller piece of equipment right on campus here. So with our staff, they could stay here right locally and just get on the equipment while they're here. Dennis, who does our janitorial, also does yard and landscaping as well. So
You were talking about dimensionally? I mean,
yeah, 2,400 square feet.
Yeah, I mean, the width and height, yeah.
40 by 60. You're very close. This is approximately 36 by 60, just this general room here.
And so we're not looking at this as like a rental, but we're tying this into the Opera House and
It allows, essentially, if some of the options come to fruition at the Opera House that are a little too early to tell the village board,
Okay.
it's not going to displace the meal site and the Legion, but it's not going to be in their best interest. Let's just put it
Okay.
that way.
So
those two entities who we've been loyal to, and especially the seniors, where we're trying to grow that senior activity, it's just going to get worse. It's going to be in a tougher situation where this is a building that could be occupied and used specifically for that two group of people, and basically you could call it their own. The meal sites always scapegoat the Opera House as being part of the reason why they can't attract people.
okay.
The Legion's kind of looking for their identity. The Legion's also, I was at their meeting last week, they're in a cooperative spirit. They said they would help offset utilities to the new facility. It's just, everything's pushing us to think about and take this opportunity to at least investigate what the pricing and costing could be.
Okay, but I mean, don't we don't rent to the Legion now?
No.
We just allow them to use the facility?
Correct.
Okay. Is there?
And the meal site, essentially the way that both of them are set up, the Legion and the meal site are both in-kind donations to their respective organizations.
And what kind of usage do we see with the, I mean, I haven't been to Legion, they've been bugging me to join, but I haven't been to any of the meetings. I mean, what kind of, yeah, what kind of people are we, I mean, how many people are we seeing at a Legion meeting or at the meals? I mean,
There was
what are we talking about servicing?
approximately 20 last week at the Legion meeting.
Okay,
They have 134 members,
Yeah.
about 25 to 30 are active.
and they meet once a month?
Once a month, they
Okay.
do other,
And then-
obviously with the holidays, they do some different meetings as well.
And the
They do
meals?
some benefits, they do salad luncheons, they do other fundraisers. I think they would do more, they might be.
They
I
have
think that's
smaller
kind of the
meetings.
point. The goal is if we have a facility for them to do things in, same with the older groups, you know, like
Yeah.
we'll just be able to have, they'll be able to do more because
Bigger.
they have a place to go.
Yeah. I guess what we've always envisioned, Jim, is, you know, especially if we're kicking off with the ride share here,
Especially having the vehicles there with
they're,
them there.
they could launch from there, they could use it as their hub.
Yeah, I mean,
And-
I can see that use.
Yeah.
I'm not even questioning that. I got that. We got the equipment storage, the van storage, right? No questions about that. My questions are as to the additional usage and whether it's cost effective for what we're looking to do, right? Because the Legion is what, 20 people once a month. I know they have like a dance and stuff, but they're using the Opera House for that. I don't know what the meal,
It's small.
It's small.
The
It's small,
congregate meal is small, but they're delivering about anywhere from 10 to 15 a day to homebound meals.
But their
Okay,
okay,
thought,
but that's delivery.
but their
Right.
thought is that it will expand into the proper facility to do it.
Okay. and-
They feel Opera House is deterring folks.
And
Well,
okay,
if
the
it
senior
was all-
center, an actual
If
senior.
it was
Yeah.
built into a
Right.
senior center.
Yeah, so, and so you could answer this better than me. So if we had a senior center, right, like this was supposed to be space for the seniors, what kind of, you know, what kind of usage would we expect from the community here? I mean, I don't want to be crass, right, but when this building was approved, I remember it being sold as a library, police department, a senior center, and a new place for the board. And my opinion at the time was, well, we do have a library. It's fallen apart. We have a police station, which we've had for a very long time, and the fire department vacated that. It's an older building, but they got twice as much space as what they had, but now we're gonna build a bigger one. Senior center, well, you know, we have, I don't know how many bars we have in Hortonville, but that's the main congregational points for the population. And the village board was meeting in the basement at the Opera House, so all of those things were already addressed, and then it was a big expense at the time, and I don't just say this as my opinion, I say this as the people that I spoke with at the time and that I talked to, and that they saw this as a very large expense to cover things that there may have been better solutions for at the time. So my questioning is to make sure that we're vetting that there is a need, that there would be usage, and that, you know, that it would end up being worthwhile to the point where you could justify it to, even though you won't see it as a raise in taxes, there's tax money you're still paying
Yeah.
for it,
Well,
right? So that's
Can I
a
point out something?
justification, yeah.
Village of Hortonville was incorporated, what, in 1854, give or take, somewhere?
Okay.
They've done nothing but have junk buildings and cobble together stuff for 100 and something years. And the village, finally, after 150 years plus, we got a decent building for the
Yep.
government. I understand people downtown at the bars, but they talk all the time anyways. We promised them a senior center, yeah. There was a
Yeah.
lot of emphasis put on that by the administrator at the time.
Mhm.
But with the expanding the library, we didn't realize the library would grow the way it's grown. You know, we didn't realize, you know, police would have meetings here, public works would have meetings here. The senior centers, the seniors meet in here. It seems, it's once a month, but I know they'd like.
Twice a month.
Yeah, twice a month. And, I think we there's not really conflict, but we would be better served to have a true senior center.
Okay.
I mean, this, you know, if you're looking short term, I'm looking at the village of Hortonville, we've made a lot of bad decisions for 150 years.
Yeah.
And we finally did something right. I know it's expensive,
Oh, I'm
but
not,
we didn't
yeah.
do anything for 150 years.
Yeah, I'm not trying to look short
Yeah.
term. What I'm trying to do is, and my opinion has changed on this building, right, from what it was. But when the building was first put in, I mean, the library's been a great success here. I mean, the growth has been phenomenal compared, my kids go here all the time. You know, this is a much nicer facility, and the downstairs is kind of falling apart. Stuff's falling off the ceiling at the Opera House now. So that wasn't a long-term feasible. But the feeling from the community at the time that we built this building was that it was a huge expense, and it didn't cover an immediate need. Right? We didn't have a need for it. Right, so I'm not saying that there won't be a future growth and to use that. I'm just saying, I just wanted to ask the questions because I'm not part of the senior community, right? So I don't see where the activities are and how much it would be used. So I want to ask the questions to make sure that it's been thoroughly vetted and that we know what
Well,
we're
I think
doing.
we're kind of hoping it would grow as much as we've grown in here.
Okay.
And-
We're also, we've taken on now stepping on strong bones, Tai Chi. Every time we have a senior community, we're looking at other activities, healthcare. It would give them a more of a friendly place to have their, you know, their type of outreach. to
We
the
could
senior-
plan more regular activities, whereas it's
Activities.
really hard to do that here.
This is more of a boardroom versus
Yeah.
a cozy atmosphere for the senior
Seminar.
community.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right, right.
Yes.
And outreach to the broader senior community.
Yeah.
Most of the people that are coming now aren't your people that go and sit at the bars. You know, they're isolate, not isolated, that's not fair to
Less
say
active.
either, but, yeah, and so we wanna broaden it, you know, for those of us that are included in the senior community, that, you know, to broaden it from 60 on or whatever.
Okay.
I guess my question is, I think it's great to talk about senior center. I'm just wondering, and kind of building off what Jim said, are there any buildings in Hortonville that we could look at?
You mean remote buildings? See, that was one
For a
thing nice
senior
is it's a
center.
campus. If you wanna, you know, buy another used building, I mean, we've been down that road before, I don't recommend that. Buying somebody else's,
And I think
Jump.
the convenience of it being here
yeah.
is going to be a plus.
Plus the vehicles are here.
We've got
Yeah.
maintenance here, we've got cleaner janitors here, you know, we've got crews here.
And
Yeah,
any-
yeah,
any
I
time-
Like
understand
I
there's
said, with
cost.
the
There's a
$30,000
savings, yeah.
swing in the Opera House, if we, let's say we lease it for 5 years, this building's basically paid for within the operating budget we have now. I
Okay.
understand the concern and some of the past issues, promises, but I think it'll surprise you that it'll grow into something useful.
Okay.
Yeah, because when we had our initial senior activities meeting, brainstorming, this was years ago, there were so many great ideas thrown out there. Now with this new building, and they were shot down real quickly. You can't do that, you can't do that, you can't do that, because this room is booked all the time. So I think if we had a space, it would rebuild that energy for good stuff. My question also would be about parking. Would there be parking?
That was my
close-
question.
Oh, we'll have a row of parking out, I'm saying it like we're doing it. There would be a row of parking along the street, and some handicap, there's room for handicap
Is
parking
there?
on this end.
Because that would be.
And we always we can overflow into here if we need to. And now if we have big events and we got everything full, well, good for us, I guess. And there's always a landlocked piece of property over here. I've been talking to the guy for years.
And then you've got the ride share.
Yeah. And we got a place for the ride share.
Well,
And,
you could pick people
People
up and
from
bring
wherever
them. Bring
spot.
them there.
Yep.
Well,
Yeah, I mean-
you know, we want to, you know, we're gonna lean, I probably can't say too much, but, you know, if we're gonna lean on some people that are belong to that group to maybe help drive, it would be nice if they were in that building.
Yeah.
And, you know, if we want seniors, you know, some of our younger seniors, like Jamie, to drive. You know, they'll be in that building. There's a lot of wins. There's certainly the potential, like your concerns.
Okay.
You're gonna have that all the time, though.
Again, this is nothing contractual. This is all discovery.
Mhm.
Seeing
Okay.
seeing what it potentially could run the village.
Okay. All right. I just wanted to
Yeah, absolutely.
you know, voice any of the concerns that I had, so that's fine.
I think too, this was news to me about the building, but, there's 3 or 4 of us on the committee that are planning to do like a tour of some other senior centers, just to get an idea of what other communities are doing. So we'd love to share that,
Absolutely.
depending on
Okay.
where that goes.
The more functional, the better.
Again, Carl and I have put a few notes on paper that we would present to and let them come up with a first rendering, and then you can take it from there. You know, essentially the way we want to make it is open and convenient for a room like this, but also have it broken down and comfortable. So if they want to have a better place to sit, not on a table, but if they want a little couch or something, you know, more casual, if they want to read a paper and have coffee, or, you know, just have a conversation in the morning and be open for their public usage, so.
So, and then there's the only other option is the expansion of the current building, and that's not something that's,
You know, well, the library's made to be expanded, yeah, admin's made to be expanded, but we're not really made to expand into a different department.
okay.
The PD can be expanded, but, not into different
Not
departments.
okay. Okay.
Don't get any.
Do you need a motion for this, or
Just, I guess it's not really.
just a head nod?
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry for all the questions,
I would say,
It was-
yeah, I mean, I guess give me your approval if you,
Well, that's expenditure of 1,500.
yeah, 1,500,
Yeah, 1,500.
So
Yeah.
we should approve.
yeah.
Okay.
Motion to approve $1,500 to Color Structures to get a long-term facilities plan.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Should be rolled.
Okay, roll call.
Aye.
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 Aye. Motion carried. IR-35-19, refinance 2014 fire station loan to support CIP.
This is a handout here I have for you. Got enough for everybody. This also coincides with our capital improvement plan. Mr. Nathan built some nice tools that we reviewed last meeting. And in order to build out for the future, we had discussed either A, paying down debt, or B, refinancing debt. The hot topic is the 2014 fire loan. And if you read the sheet here, you can see the current balance is $380,030.41. It's currently at 3.95 APR. It's structured for the next 4 years with a balloon payment due of $229,299.40. That would have to either be refinanced or paid down prior to 2024. With the current structure, the next 4 years, we'd be paying a total of $48,736.80 in interest for the next 4 years. So we have an opportunity to make some changes here prior to that balloon payment. We could restructure the debt with our current CIP program and pay the balloon in advance, or you can refinance, which I've taken the liberty to already have a note pre-approved with Wolf River Community Bank at 3.49 APR for 8 years on a fixed note. That restructuring would cost the village, if you go down below, all told, to go 8 years out on that note would be $56,066.53. So it would be a $7,329.73 increase in interest. However, by refinancing, we're also saving $20,703.54 off the total value of the loan. So my recommendation is that we definitely restructure this loan for the 8 years. By doing so, that allows us, by taking this option rather than paying the debt down, it puts $229,532 into our capital fund. Whereas that would be, so essentially for our $7,000 of interest that we'd be adding to our full meal deal here, we're adding $229,000 of capital to our planning here. I hope I didn't go too fast where you understand that.
There's no reason to pay it off early. We can't find any justification for paying it off early. It would be at the detriment of our capital plan. We've got all these stuff planned for 20 and 21. We would have to put all that on hold to pay it off early. And there's no reason to. because it's not gonna change the taxes at all. So we'll just spread it out, and then we'll keep our capital plan up there and start fixing stuff.
Yeah.
This
You know,
is
stuff
We
that-
lock it in,
Yeah,
then
get
we
it
have a
locked.
locked rate for
Yep.
8 years.
8 years,
and then
it all plays
no
into the,
balloon payment.
to the near cash finance option that we had proposed and had agreed upon by you. This does not affect our mill rate, it'll not increase taxes, it's all part of the plan that we have built into our financing moving forward. So, Jason, we do have a payment polling January 1, right? Is that when they poll it? Okay, so the first part of the, so we, again, time is kind of the essence here. We want to get this done before they poll a payment in 2020. Not that it would matter, but it's just, it'll be cleaner, easier to set us up moving into the new year. This is, like I said, I already work with Jason at the bank. Ready to roll when if we make a decision tonight.
Are there any questions?
So basically, you're just turning the balloon payment into an 8-year loan.
Correct.
Or you're turning the balloon payment plus
Correct.
the other 4 years.
Correct. So
It's
essentially,
an
our
eight-year
payments will go up $4,506 in the next 4 years per month.
Okay.
So,
And-
but we'd be able to easily do that out of fund balance. So if we'd be taking $4,500, not a month, a year.
I was gonna say.
Yeah, I'm sorry. So essentially, we'd be prepaying $4,500 more with our savings and interest. We're paying in the next 4 years where we have structured payments already set, we'll be paying $4,506 more in the year's time for the next 4 years, which we could offset with our, either the capital plan or fund balance if we needed to accommodate that extra payment. And it's a set payment then for 8 years versus the next 4.
I do like the fact this sets up something proactive to get it included with our note, along with being done with a balloon payment where we don't know what the interest rate would be.
Correct.
That's true.
Yeah, we don't, unfortunately, not knowing what the next year's gonna bring, we could be in a,
You know,
so
I'll make a
this-
motion to.
okay, go ahead.
I'll make a motion to approve R3519, resolution authorizing borrowing of funds from Wolf River Community Bank to refinance the 2014 fire station loan.
I'll second that.
Roll call.
Aye.
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 Motion carried. J, any other miscellaneous topics for future discussion? If there are none, we'll move to 10, report of village officials. A, administrator.
I do not have a printed report. The biggest news is that Carl and I were on site of Van's Construction today. They have done more clearing in Brookwood and they are ready to dig basements. So we should see the 2 houses being dug. They're gonna be building both at the same time. So that's the big news of probably the last week. Other than that, with the approval of the January 2 calendar, or the January 2 cancellation, I just want to give you a report of where I'm going to be. I'll be off all of next week, and I'm coming in on the 30th to do a bunch of projects with the Public Works, and then plan on taking the rest of that week off as well. So next 2 weeks I will be available by phone and email, and I will attend to them, but I'm scheduling myself out of office for a nice break here, going into the holiday season. So that's all I have. If there's questions.
If there are no questions, we'll move to B, clerk treasurer.
The credit card readers have been installed. However, MSB, we're still working with them and Civic to accept the payments online. So soon will we be able to do that. Trevor Rose conducted the preliminary audit yesterday and it went well. And then I just wanted to make you aware of the interest earnings for this last year. We earned $28,223 in the village accounts through November. The previous year's interest was $13,000. The utility accounts earned $29,325 through November. The previous year's total was $10,000. So that is a substantial difference.
Yeah.
The 2020 spring preparations have begun. At this time, there are 3 candidates for Justice of the Supreme Court, and the deadline for filing the papers is January 7th. So, that's all I have.
Is there any update for village officials?
Nobody has filed or taken out papers that,
Okay, other than,
other than the 3 that are
Okay.
on the board.
Any questions? We'll move to C, Director of Public Works.
I've got,
Nothing.
I'm open for questions.
Any questions for Carl?
Well,
You gonna ask
I
yourself
plead
a
the
question?
I think me and Dan want it. We've got, since we're not having a January 2nd meeting, we want to have a Public Works Committee meeting. We're going to be discussing citizen requests for reimbursement from a lateral leak. We're going to be discussing fluoride in the distribution system. That should be a hot topic. The capital improvement plan. I'm going to go ahead and give this to you, Jim. And there was one other item.
The light,
Lights.
is that in there?
Oh,
Is that-
yeah.
Public safety.
Is that public safety?
That's more public safety. But I can tell you right now that the DOT wouldn't let us put a pole in the right of way, and the pole that's there has 3-phase power coming down for Gilbert's, and we can't put a light standard on that. So I'm not sure what we can do there. We'd have to bring Weirds out and do a study or something. But anything's possible. Chris will work with you on
Are you thinking of having the Public Works meeting on the 2nd then?
it. No, I'm thinking January 16th. We're gonna have a committee of the whole, I believe, and,
it's proposed, and I was gonna talk to it when we get to number 11 on
Oh,
communications
sorry.
and miscellaneous, so. Jim had been asking for a public safety meeting. We had proposed the 13th at 6 o'clock. That was the one that you sent back, that'd be the Monday.
Okay.
That would affect Jim, Shauna, Dan, and Julie. So the 13th at 6 PM, it's a Monday. If that fits in anybody, that'd be for the public safety agenda, or a committee meeting. And then what I had proposed, and Carl was talking tonight, is prior to the 16th, to do a 5 PM Public Works Committee meeting, which would affect Dan, Pat, Shauna, and Jim. And then do a 5:30 Committee of the Whole, and that would be for my administrative review.
I'm gonna have a hard time making that before 6.
Okay.
I've got an obligation, right?
well, at least you'll, oh, never mind.
Which one was it? When was the Public Works?
Public Works would have been at 5 PM on the 16th. And then I was gonna ask for a Committee of the Whole on 5:30 on the 16th, do a review of me as the administrator.
That would have to be a closed session.
Correct.
You know, Dan, all these topics under Public Works really should be seen by the whole board. You know, when you're talking about a citizen reimbursement request, or fluoride in the distribution system, or
We could do that.
the capital
Maybe add it
plan.
to
Well,
committee
we
of
could
the
just do a 5 o'clock Committee of the Whole and then go into closed
That'd be
session
good.
for my review. That would be fine
Right.
also. If it,
Can you make it that night, Jim?
Which night is that?
The 16th, 5.
5 o'clock is,
Before the board meeting.
16th is a Thursday, 5 PM. I'll put it on my calendar.
And I have a meeting in Oshkosh starting at 3:30, and I don't know if I'll be able to get here. I doubt I can get here by 5, so,
Is there any chance of moving the village meeting back to 6:30?
that would help me, but I don't know if that would help
Doesn't
you.
bother,
Doesn't bother
doesn't matter
me.
to me. I mean, I have to drive to Nina, so
We can
really
do
is, I have to
it's
take
just a
off.
posting. I mean,
Yeah,
we
Then
can start
we'll
at
post it
5:30,
every time.
5:30 and then 6:30.
5:30 and 6:30?
That's
So-
possible.
Okay.
So
5:30 Cow, 6:30 Village Board.
Thank you.
So easy to roll.
Just so I know I have my-
And then the Public
So
Works
is
is
that
still,
Cal on the 13th?
Public safety would be on the 13th at 6 PM.
but the Public Works would still be,
Public Works would be just a committee of the whole meeting.
oh, that's all gonna be in the
Yep.
committee of the whole.
Everything would be in the committee of the whole.
Okay.
We'll get those agendas out and we'll copy everybody on so everybody's aware of it. And then we'll make sure that the committee members know which ones,
Mhm.
so.
We'll
Okay.
move to D, police chief.
I really don't have a whole lot, other than we had, cookies by the cop on Saturday.
I heard you guys gave away a lot.
Well, when we had to purchase, our thought was to purchase 600 cookies, but we couldn't purchase, a half a case. They would only sell them to us at a case at the discounted price. So we probably gave away 120 cookies. So, but
No, I
we-
meant prizes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I talked to somebody who got one of the big prizes. He was like blown away.
There was four stockings. And I guess, when Santa came in with the whole ho, and he had all those stockings in that bag, and I'm like, oh man, we made him carry them all the way from here to here. They're heavy. So we had two Christmas trees that we donated with tree stands, and, yeah. So next year, I think we're gonna do a little bit earlier, just because it's so close to Christmas and people were busy, but we had leftover cookies, and we took them to both the, senior facilities, so that they could decorate their cookies there. So, Nick did a wonderful job organizing it, so hats off to him.
I think it's just great that you do that, the community. It was fun to stop in and see everybody.
We had Dave handing out cookies. Put 'em on
One in his mouth, one handed out.
One for you, one for me.
See, we probably would have had 180 cookies to give away, but
Well,
we ate 60.
You're supposed to put on 10 pounds or an
Eats the
hour.
cookies, squeezes in the frosting.
That's for my diet in January.
Don't we know? Are there any questions for Chris? If not, we'll move to E, library director.
I don't have anything new
No.
since the last one.
Apple's attorney.
Neither do I.
Nothing going on with that property.
And Shelley,
Chili.
sheriff's auction, sheriff's sale will be January 9. That's my recollection, because that's, yeah, should be 9 o'clock at the, Allegheny County Courthouse. There's actually a second property,
Yeah, it's on a nigh, isn't it?
now in East Main there, next to Julie.
Oh, yeah.
The Handrich
Handrich?
property, yeah.
The white one?
Okay.
Yeah, I think that one. Must be the only one left, right?
Yeah.
But that's for sale also the same morning, on the 9th.
Do we know, is there any interest in them or
No,
no? We don't know.
don't know. And you know, you don't know until right before that. You could call the plaintiff's attorney and see what they're gonna bid, typically maybe a day or two before, but otherwise.
Do they post anything for those? I mean, locally? You know, I mean,
No.
they're trying to get money. I mean, what,
Yeah,
the
No.
idea is to get
yeah,
bidders.
they used to, but then the posting law changed, because now you can put it on the internet,
Mm-hmm.
so it's a little different.
They post.
Do they post them locally here?
Yeah.
Are they?
They're right over here.
Are they? Okay.
Up on the wall or something?
Pass,
Boards, on the posting board.
the Al Pass,
What's that?
the Al Pass,
No,
just for sale.
He was up at Care Partners, but I haven't seen him for the last 2 months, so I don't.
no, he hasn't
I
passed.
haven't heard anything.
And Sue,
No.
Sue's left.
Maybe I can go
Yes.
there. That'd be a good time.
Oh, that's a good question.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it for a while.
He might not.
Is that something that we could put up on the village site or Facebook, or is there anything against doing that?
No,
I do hear a lot of feedback from people about
yeah.
the bankruptcy auctions, how nobody except for the realtors know, kind
Yeah.
of thing, and
No, but they don't know where to look, like you're saying.
Yes,
It's
exactly.
The which bulletin
Yeah.
board is, so, you know, you could do that. And,
is
there's
that something you
nothing
could do?
wrong with it. There's nothing with passing on
Yeah,
a posting.
yeah, I mean,
Maybe post those specific things, but, maybe do attachment or a quick link to the
Websites.
to the, yeah,
actual website that everybody else is using.
yeah, I mean, I think that would be useful information, even if only 1 or 2 people see it, if somebody's interested in it, that would be, it gives the appearance of transparency with something like that.
Mhm.
Not that it's ours, but,
No, but
but it,
We'd like
Probably-
to fill too, you know.
well, I mean, it,
no,
yeah,
it can help. The more people that are aware of it.
yeah.
Because even if the plaintiff, even if the bank gets it back, obviously, they want to get rid of it, so, sometimes the interest carries over, even, you may not be the high bidder, but you got your foot in the door too.
Yeah, and you know how much it's sold for, how much they have to get
Right.
back out of it,
Yeah.
so that's helpful.
G is the building permit report. There is none in the packet. H, municipal court report. There is none. 11, communications and miscellaneous business. A, Black Otter Lake District News.
We met last night, at the Opera House, and Carl and David were there to talk about how Black Otter Lake District can cooperate, work with the village more in making some improvements, like in the parks, things bordering the lake. So we're going to be looking at putting a budget line in our budget for 2021. I think it was supported.
Yeah. Yeah.
Interest in, picnic tables, benches, fishing piers, boat launches. Am I missing anything?
We're essentially asking them to cooperatively spend on the things at or around the lake, not just the body of water itself, but to help with the park.
Contribute more
Yeah,
to them.
exactly. So we've solicited for a $10,000 annual stipend to be basically given to the village to cooperate with our capital improvement plan. Like Pat said, it really wasn't opposed last night. Carl, I think we have $6,000 in the 2020 budget that will ask for them to amend their budget. Other than that, we'll be in advance of their budgetary process. So we'll essentially ask for that $10,000 from here on out going into 21. So.
And the truck was purchased through a bidding process through the county, and the harvester is being repaired up in Hurley, Ashland?
Hayward, somewhere.
Hayward.
Hayward.
Up north.
Up north.
Up north, up north. That's all I have on that.
Jane, did we get that voucher out today?
I haven't been up, by the
Thank you.
refuse center, how's that building?
I have not either.
Where?
The building, the one, it's a Black Otter
Oh,
building, right?
exterior's done, still got some electrical to do and interior work, but, equipment's inside, they're nice and dry. It's a good looking building.
Yeah, I haven't had to drop off any grass clippings in a while, so I haven't been over
And,
there.
hey, that's a good.
Public Works has
We're
the
gonna redo
electrical, they pulled electrical from the building to the building, so it's plumbed, it's just gotta get connected now. And then we'll do some initial pre-wiring for lights and be able to, closures on the doors.
That raises a question. Is the drop-off site closed all winter, or is that open?
Yeah, we closed it now, but we're thinking that we're gonna reconfigure it to have a gate behind, so you can drop off grass and leaves and stuff, regular garden waste, yard waste. But we won't accept brush except maybe on Saturdays or something like that.
Oh, so leave the grass open all the time, it's
Yeah.
just move the gates?
And get that paved. I've got that in the CIP to pave that area. There's nothing worse than seeing, one of our elderly citizens walking through the slop, trying to drop something off there. So.
Do we have working cameras over there? I mean, I know that there's a sign.
Yeah,
that says
they're
that.
bad. You could throw a license plate, I shouldn't say this, you could throw a license plate on the ground right below the camera and you can't read it.
Is there something they can do about that, or?
Yeah, well,
I mean, if you're gonna
It'll
open
take
it up,
some money, yeah.
cause, well, cameras aren't that expensive,
no, but,
that's what I mean.
to have a whole system put in for a commercial system. I suppose we could buy something from Menards, but, we need at least 3 to 5 days worth of memory, that kind of stuff, so. Maybe someday stop by, could use some help.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, those systems are not expensive to put in, and
I know at
if
the
you're gonna
time.
open it up, I mean, you're gonna have people dropping all their brush and stuff right in the grass.
Well, we
Not
paid-
that, I mean,
We paid $8,000 for that system. Excuse this.
for the surveillance system that's over there,
Yes. I should have said the village board paid $8,000.
wow,
Some of us
okay.
weren't here.
It's
Not
part of the
you.
plan,
Yeah, no. Okay,
But yeah, we can certainly use some IT help. So
yeah,
Stuff on down.
okay. All right, I'll shoot you an email.
B is Hortonville, Hortonia Fire District News.
Other than our billing program here, and I'm gonna take the lead on that, and I will be delivering their sheets prior to the new year. They're gone home and starting on it right away first of the year, so.
Okay. C, Gold Cross Ambulance Run Report, there is none in the packet. D, Hortonville Civic Association, Peter is out tonight. E, Senior Activities Committee,
We had, 2 cars carpool down to Oshkosh for the lights at Menominee Park, and our next meeting will be January, third Thursday in January, I believe. So that's all I have.
12 is comments and suggestions from citizens present, and there are none. And we need a motion to adjourn.
Move that we adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned.